Welcome back to another episode of the My Latin Life podcast. Since 2014, My Latin Life has been your trusted guide to traveling and living in Latin America. Today, I have a special guest. His name is Adil Maf, and he's a really interesting guy. He specializes in helping people from emerging markets get their payment processing handled. And he has a YouTube channel dedicated to that. And he's an entrepreneur. He has other businesses as well. But I thought it was really cool because I think one of the main reasons that a lot of the digital nomads you see today are still largely kind of from North America and rich countries is I think partly just because we have our payment processing handled and it's easy and we can receive money from anywhere in the world. And for someone from Egypt or Indonesia or Brazil, it's a little bit more tricky to accept money from all over the world. So it's almost like uh, it's not an even playing ground. So something that I think about a bit. But anyway, long story short, wanted to welcome Adil to the podcast. Learned about him from his podcast and talking about his experience living in Brazil as a Moroccan guy. So definitely living an international life. Adil, how's it going, man?
All good. How about yourself?
Doing awesome, man. Yeah,
Awesome.
the way I actually found you was through your podcast. I think I don't even know. I was just using the search functionality in Google Podcasts to look for stuff about Brazil and the other expats. And your episode about I think it was like 16 things I love about Brazil popped up.
Yeah.
And then I kind of started looking at your profile and I was like, man, this guy could be a cool podcast guest because, um, he's living in Latin America. He's living in Brazil. Looks like you've been doing it for a while now, like 4 years plus. And
Yeah. More
so
than this.
I
More.
exactly. So I was like, yeah, this guy's an interesting story for sure.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. There's also a chapter in Colombia. I love Colombia. Been in Medellin, and yeah, I love Latin America in general.
Awesome. So how long have you been like living in Brazil now? I think it's been like a while, right?
Yeah, I came the first time to Brazil back in 2013. I came here for a rock festival, and
Rock in Rio?
what I was. No, it's another one in Sao Paulo, Masters of Rock with Slipknot and Machine Head and stuff, Aerosmith. And yeah, so like when I came in here, like for me, Brazil was like in what we see in the movies, like Cidade de Deus, City of God, or
Hmm.
Edit Squad. And it was mind-boggling. Like when I arrived in here, it's a whole different thing. And that was my first contact with Brazil. And then I came back like each year, whenever there is some festival like Tomorrowland or something, I came back here until I decided to live in here. And here I am. Like,
Yeah, that's awesome, man. There's a phrase that I've related on the podcast before. It's that there's only two type of people: those that have never been to Brazil and those that are trying to go back.
true, true. I love it. Yeah, yeah. This is exactly what happened. Like, whenever somebody come here, like they come with very low expectation, and then they see how is Brazil, and they don't want to go back. Like, yeah,
Hmm.
true.
And I've actually listened to another podcast that you were on. It was like the first video that you uploaded to your channel where
Mhm.
someone interviewed you like 5 years ago. So I did get a bit of your background and stuff, but I'd really love to hear it from your own mouth and, for the benefit of the audience, kind of where you're from, how you got started in entrepreneurship, and kind of what kind of journey you're on.
Oh yeah, sure. So, like I come from Morocco, Casablanca. I grew up in there. It's um, yeah, like I've been there almost my whole life until moving to Brazil, and I've been into digital marketing since quite early. Like I used to run a web magazine of metal and rock and stuff back in 2001, 2002, something like that. And then from there, like I went to email marketing. I was very early, like when people were about distribution of flyers and stuff. And I was already selling to my customers like email marketing solution and this kind of stuff. And yeah, then from there I moved to Brazil. I've been into dropshipping too. I'm still into dropshipping right now with some GVs and e-commerce. And by the way, like you've been talking about payment processing, like this is how I've got into payment processing. Like I jumped into drop shipping back in 2016, and being Moroccan, like we don't have a lot of solutions for processing payments and selling on an e-commerce store internationally. Like there is it's a non-existent thing. Like we have PayPal, and PayPal, there is a lot of issues with PayPal, like they shut down
Hmm.
the account and stuff, especially once you start scaling your business. And that's exactly what happened to me. I had a PayPal account, and I started scaling a dropshipping store back in September 2016, and I started reaching like $2,000 per day. Then I started moving. I reached something like 30,000 in 15 days or something, and then they locked my account. They shut it down. They asked for some stuff. I sent them everything, but like it was over for that account. And like this way, I found myself in Brazil, 10,000 kilometers far away from my home country. And like I wasn't a very good at managing money and stuff. Not like right now. I'm investing. I have a portfolio of investments and stuff. Back then, like I was just a spender. I make money and I spend it. So I was almost with no money in Brazil and with no way to process payments and knowing how to make money, like how to do Facebook ads and how to generate money. And I had like my coaching going on and many things, but like I was stuck because there is no payment processing solution. So it took me like something like 6 months trying to crack the code, and it was some very difficult period, actually, extremely difficult one of the hardest I had in my life. And I cracked the code of how to process payments without being from the from European countries or the US or Canada. So even if you are South African or if you are Colombian or Mexican or Moroccan, you can process payments. So once I cracked the code, I shared it on YouTube, and that's how it started, like the new journey.
Hmm.
Like I've been helping dozens of thousands around the world, like sharing new strategies and new techniques. So anyone, because I believe that it's unfair, and not because you were born the wrong side of the map that you lose this benefit and like you can't have access to sell globally. And we are getting in a global world. Like it's, you know, I think that like everyone need to have it, everyone deserve to have access to a payment processing system so they can like do transactions internationally and
Hmm.
grow internationally. And I also believe like not just this, and this is also why I've got in crypto. Like I was looking for an alternative back in 2017, and I found about Bitcoin and stuff. And this is why like right now I'm heavy into crypto because it's about freedom. It's about like we're all equal
Hmm.
and like anyone can send a transaction to anyone without bureaucracy and banking and this kind of stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's the logical succession of the thing. Started in digital marketing, emailing, ended up in crypto, and right now play to earn and NFTs and this kind of stuff. I hope
It
it
makes sense.
answered your question.
It does, and it makes sense
Oh,
that you made the leap into crypto, coming from a place where you had a real use case, and
yeah.
you have probably a different perspective on crypto than maybe I do. I wanted to take a step back and kind of like focus on your early journey a bit. I mean, for context, how old are you now?
38.
Because you've been in internet business stuff, it seems like for almost 20 years, right?
Yeah, 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 something like that.
That's amazing. And Casablanca, I believe so. I believe how it works is like Rabat is like the government capital, and then Casablanca is like the business capital of Morocco, right?
Yeah, it's exactly that. Like it's the big city. It's like the Sao Paulo of Morocco, and
Hmm.
like right now, it's very multicultural, very mixed, very yeah. It's quite yeah. Like the new Casablanca, I quite like it. I've been there. I was like my I was like, what the hell is this? The city I grew up in?
It's changed a lot.
A lot. The mentalities and yeah, it's quite. It's way better than the Casablanca I knew. It's very
And
modern, very
what is like the cultural makeup now, like the multicultural elements of Casablanca?
well. Right now we have a huge community of expats. Like the building when I used to live before coming in here, like half of it were like Spanish, Portuguese, French, and there is a lot of immigration from also the like
Africa.
other African countries. Yes, yes. So and there is also immigration from Europe actually, because like people are immigrating to have a better quality of life, and because it's cheaper than Europe, while the quality of life is higher. Like a lot of people moving to Marrakesh and this kind of stuff, and this
Hmm.
creates some some mixture like the mentality change, and you go to a bar, you find people from all over the world, and it's quite cool. Love
Yeah,
it.
that's cool. That's really cool. And did you go to an international school growing up?
No, I've been in the very normal school. I've been like I grew up in a neighborhood like kind of the suburb in the US, and very normal school, like very uh, international school was quite expensive. I was broke back then. My mother didn't have the means for that.
Okay. I was like, I bet this guy went to the Lycée Française or something.
No, no, no. But the thing is that like I was spending all my time. I was living like in a shitty place, and I was all the time going to the fancy place in Casablanca where there is the Lycée Français, where the French, yeah, Moroccan French. It's very mixed, and like this is where I was spending my time, because
Hmm.
culturally it's in the same. We speak the same language more or less
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
yeah, but
Yeah,
I
and
was
and
broke.
I,
That,
I
that,
feel
that was the
I feel
difference.
I feel connected to this part of the world, the francophone world as well, because I'm Canadian and
Oh,
lived in Montreal for many years, and would
nice,
go eat at Moroccan restaurants and listen to music and stuff. So and have
nice. I,
buddies and
half of my father's family, half of them they are in Montreal,
there you
Canada.
go,
Yeah, and they're like all the time. You should come visit us in Canada. You should come. Never went there. I should. I
dude.
think.
You got to. It's good. It's a good spot. It's pretty cheap too.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
And so how did you? So you said you started doing email marketing stuff in like
yes,
2004 or something, like really early on.
yeah,
So were you
yeah.
already speaking English at this point, or were you learning from like French speaking
Yeah.
gurus?
No, no, no. I was like, actually, I was learning English back when 2001 to 2002, 2003. I had this web magazine about rock, heavy metal, and this kind of stuff. And I was already interviewing some bands, some big names, and it was in English because I was learning with the music actually the English.
Hmm.
So this was quite helpful in my journey later on, and like this is how I've got the language. But the thing is that like back in 2003 I was stupid. I didn't go and look for how to make money online. The only attempt I did is some Google AdSense on that portal, and I asked my
Hmm.
friend to go and click, so they shut down the account. Uh, like, yeah, I've got into digital marketing like more seriously in 2007, 2008. And this is when I started also doing the email marketing for the customers, 2007.
Hmm. And when you started, getting big into doing the email marketing and sort of
Hmm.
internet e-commerce,
Hmm.
how much of it was like, what was your motivation? Was it sort of like a freedom thing, a travel the world thing, or just like a provide for my family thing, or what, or just a
Well,
genuine interest in technology,
Well,
or
well, it came like that. I always believe like I was always looking for what is the next trend since back then. Like email marketing, like I had to educate the customers first, like explain what is email marketing, what it is going to benefit them more than paying for magazines and stuff. And like the motive I had behind, I won't lie, just getting out of misery. I had to escape first and like have a decent life, and then I reached that level. Like I was making very good money, sports car and this kind of stuff. And like in 2013, and I had a company. I have two companies actually. I had also another company for booking models and hostesses. So I was operating in this field also, booking models for shooting and this kind of stuff. And yeah, like, and I had a big team and everything was fine. Then once I traveled first, I think I went to Thailand, and then I said, you know what, I need to start a digital nomad life, like the life of living in the same city and this kind of stuff. This is not my thing. So since 2013 I started like thinking about this. And that to 2011, 2011, I've got into the make money online thing, like
hmm
ClickBank, like
hmm
CPA. And 2013, I was into Amazon FBA. No, not Amazon FBA. I was into Amazon affiliate. I had some websites and like earning commission from affiliates and this kind of stuff. And when I went into Thailand and I was already making money online, like I checked the stats and my website's making me some income while I'm traveling. I said, this is the life I want. I want to travel and I want to enjoy like the world, what the world got to offer. And the more I moved in, like my goal was like once I start making some solid income online, I pack my stuff and I move. And this happened in 2015. Like I took my online money I make online to around 7,000, $10,000, something like that. And I said, this is the time. I sold everything in Morocco and like packed my stuff and came here to Brazil.
makes
And
sense.
the rest is history. But like I was really obsessed with this, this freedom thing. You wake up, you don't need an alarm clock to wake up. You don't need to be in like tomorrow. If I want, I can pack my stuff and I can move to the other continent and spend
Hmm
there like 6 months, 7 months. And
hmm
it's all about freedom. It's not about the money. I always like to repeat this. It's not about the money, it's about freedom. And this is why, like, whatever I'm doing is related to freedom because it's one of my core values. Like cryptocurrencies is about freedom. You are free with your money. Digital marketing is about freedom. It's all about freedom. So yeah,
Yeah,
hope
and
it
so
answers your
what
question.
it does. So what came first? Did you want to be free and then started making money, or did you kind of start making money and then kind of had the realization, you know what, like I don't need to go
N-
back,
n-
like it's
no,
better here.
no, I wanted to become free, and the way to get freedom was money.
hmm
Like this is how I've seen it. Like making money online, you buy your freedom, and then you can do whatever you want. Money gives you options actually. So if you have $1,000, you have some options. You have $10,000, you have 10 more options.
It's
And this
true.
is like it's just expanding your options, and options equal freedom of choice.
And the path of a traveler can be interesting, and I bet maybe you didn't always envision yourself ending up in Brazil necessarily. Did you have
Never,
like a dream
never.
location when you were in
No.
Casablanca and you were thinking about the future? Where did you think you would end up?
No, Canada actually when I was a kid because all my family were there in Montreal and I was like saying to my mother, "Hey, I need to study in Canada in a school there." And she was, "No, it's very expensive. I can't. There's no way to do it." It was Canada. I was obsessed about this until like in high school. That was like the maximum I was planning to like the goal I wanted to achieve. And
Hmm.
Brazil, I never thought about Brazil. Like eventually Thailand, I like Thailand. But when I came to Brazil and I've seen how Brazil and the Brazilian, the people, like I made some crazy friendships in here. Like we are friends until now. And we've been communicating just with, with, I think you know how Brazilian are. Very, very friendly, very warm, very
Hmm.
like you don't speak I back then I didn't speak any Portuguese and we were exchanging just with the Google Translate, like, hey, let's party, okay, let's go to the party. Like plus it's very different from what the media are showing us. Like they show us violence and stuff. You go to Sao Paulo, it's like New York. It's very modern, it's very skyscrapers, it's very advanced. You get everything in there. So I was like, hey, I think Brazil is the place to be. So then yeah, I started coming here like whenever there is a big festival or something until I decide to establish in here.
And was Brazil your first destination that you visited in Latin America?
Yes. Yes. Brazil. Then
That's funny because
Colombia
it's
came
not
after.
most people's first destination. It's usually actually for a lot of people
Colombia.
it's like the ultimate step. Like the first step is like, you know,
You you
we actually joke that there's like a three-step program for Latin American digital nomads, and step 1 is Medellin or Playa del Carmen, something like digital nomad hub, something
you
familiar. And
you
then
know
step
why?
2 is like the other Latin countries. I go like, okay, let me try Peru or Ecuador or something. And then
Mm-hmm.
step 3,
Mm-hmm.
the final frontier, is Brazil.
You know why? This is the perspective of people from the US and Canada because proximity. You start with Mexico and like the
Right.
language. There's a lot of Latinos in there, so you hear Spanish all over the place. So Brazil, it's like the last thing. It's like you're playing a video game and it's the last level. While people coming from a country like say France, you will find a lot of French coming to Brazil because like it's the same level of difficulty. And Brazil is exotic and this kind of thing. So here you will find a lot of people coming from the other sides of the world. This is what happens actually.
That's a good point.
But
That's a very good point.
yeah, yeah. So like, but still, like if we and also if we compare like the tourist number in Colombia and in Brazil, like Brazil is way more than Colombia. It's just that they are not coming from the US. The US, they go to Medellin. Like they start with Mexico, as you said, and then they go to Colombia because it's the basic. When I was there, like it's full of people from the US. And then the next step, it's like the Australian, they start with Thailand. Quite similar.
Exactly. Exactly. And so when you were focused on sort of getting your freedom and internationalizing, and actually now, like, do you have an internationalization plan, or how do you think about having multiple bases and sort of diversifying?
Well, one of my plans, the first one is diversification of passports, because it's like your access to various things, like more freedom. Especially right now, the world is going very, very, very crazy with the COVID. Like sometimes, passport A is more powerful than passport B just because of COVID. So this is something. This is something for the internationalization. Other than this, eventually, like buying some real estate in Colombia. That's something I have in the pipeline. I'm starting here in Brazil, and I eventually plan to expand in there.
That's awesome.
I
Um,
Yeah.
have you been visiting Colombia as well?
Yeah, yeah. I spent some time in there, in Medellin, Cartagena, Bogota. I really liked Colombia. Like it's amazing. It's amazing. The people, the vibe, the Latino vibe. Because Brazil is, people think that Brazil is Latino. Brazil is not Latino. Brazil, like, people here don't have reggaeton and stuff. Like, but if you go to Colombia, you'll find things that are very common with Argentina and with Mexico and with Panama. You know, a lot of Latino similarities.
Hmm.
Brazil, it's another dimension. It's another galaxy. Here, it's the funk. It's, samba,
It's a whole
sertanejo.
nother thing.
Yeah, yeah. So this is like, I like the Latino part in Colombia. The people. I liked Bogota a lot. It's just that it's so cold at night, very cold. But like the vibe is amazing in Bogota, and yeah, Colombia was a great experience, and I'm planning to go back there. As I said, like I eventually getting some real estate in there.
Yeah, so let's talk a bit about real estate in Colombia and in Brazil. I've
Hmm.
actually had a couple guys on the podcast that were pretty much experts in real estate in Colombia, running Airbnbs and things like
Hmm.
that. And so we've talked a bit on this show about how to get residency in Colombia through buying real estate. There's other
Hmm.
ways to get residency in Colombia without buying real estate, but real estate's probably the most common path. Um, I know there's another program in Brazil. I've touched on this in the podcast in the past, and looked into it a bit. And Brazil actually has a similar program for buying real estate, and actually
Yes.
similar threshold, like kind of around the 120K US mark, before
Yes.
fees in terms of the value of the property that you need to acquire. So actually, at a surface level, in terms of like requirements, sort of similar programs. Um,
Yes.
how much have you looked into it?
Not much. Not much. Like I didn't dig much, but like what I know about this program is that when you invest in the north is cheaper than if you invest in the south, aka Sao Paulo, Santa Catarina, because here it's more developed, more, while the north there is still a lot to
Hmm.
do. So they try to encourage like people to inject some money in there.
Hmm.
So yeah. Uh, but like I didn't dig that much into that, like when I came in here.
Yeah, I think actually all of Brazil is pretty much on sale. The Brazilian real is has gone down quite a lot.
Not recently. It went up like the last month, 6% up.
Oh
Like my
wow.
cost of living is like 6% up. While in Colombia, I checked, it's still the same level with the dollar. Yeah.
Kind of makes sense actually because it's such a commodity driven economy, and
Yes.
we're
Exactly.
facing a lot of inflation, and so Brazil is
Exactly.
actually a bit of an inflation hedge.
Very good point. Very good point. Very good point. Yes. Yes. This is exactly what is happening.
My main fear around well, I have a couple preoccupations around the Brazil program, but I mean, I would definitely love to read or watch someone's firsthand experience doing it because the steps involved did not look easy. You definitely need
It's
a lawyer.
bureaucracy.
You need the
Yes.
bureaucracy is insane.
Yes.
Like in Colombia,
Yes.
it's pretty doable. Colombia is pretty doable, but I think the bureaucracy that you're going to face um, in Brazil, attempting to do the exact same program
Yeah, true.
is going to be significantly more arduous.
Yes, true, true. Like I took a very different path, like because as being a permanent resident in here, and I can eventually ask for my passport. Like I have this right now, and like what I'm doing is a different path, as I'm leveraging the money of the bank to
Mm.
buy the real estate. So this way I'm also hedging, because you don't know where the economy. Imagine you inject 100,000 in a property in Brazil to get this residency, and like the money of Brazil goes down 30%. So you shrink your money. Actually, it's not an investment. you have like the value of your money is $70,000, so you lost 30%.
Well, in on paper.
Uh,
um,
yeah, yeah, on paper, but like if you check the last 5 years, Brazil versus the US dollar lost 60% or something.
mm. Yeah, I think one of the things about real estate in Latin America is for how hard it is to buy, it's probably way harder to sell and get out of the market. So that's something to consider. For
It
some
depends.
context, yeah,
Balneario is very easy to sell. It's very easy to sell. Yes. Like real estate in here, it's something really crazy in the city. Like it's the second to Sao Paulo. A huge demand, prices going up 10% per year, and like you put your apartment for sale, it's sold
I
because it's a
definitely want to
small
get to
city.
talking about Balneario Camboriu because
Yeah, sure.
I think most Americans
They don't
and most
know.
people in general they don't know about it,
They don't
but what's
know.
going on there is actually crazy. But I want to come
Yes.
back to it a little bit later,
Sure.
kind of when we'll get around to the fun stuff. um, but
Mhm.
so just to give like a little bit of context, so you became a permanent resident, you said in Brazil.
Yes.
How did you manage to wing that?
Well, I was dating a Brazilian, and when you date a Brazilian, like you can do with her like the União Estável thing. It's like I don't know what is the equivalent in English. Uh, I know it in French, União Stable, and then you get granted your residency. So this is exactly the what happened.
Interesting.
Yeah. And like the majority of gringos in here, like when they come, they have a girlfriend, and like they do this so they can stay longer. Otherwise, they need to go out like to another country and come back after 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So the majority who are living in here, Polish, American, like this is like the way.
And so you don't even have to get married. It's just
No,
like
no, you
living
don't
in the
have to
same
get.
household.
Yeah, as long as you live in the same household and stuff, like it's fine.
Damn, that's
Yeah.
crazy. I've never heard about that being mentioned.
Yeah, so as long as you have like this is like all the foreigners living in here, all my friends, like that's the exact same path, like that I know that they followed. So once you find a good girl and like you are like you have a good couple relationship and stuff, then you can go for this.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so would Brazil be your only residency, and then Morocco your only passport, or do you have a couple other things?
I'm thinking about actually I've checked like you had an episode about Saint Kilt. It's
Mhm.
something I'm considering. Uh, for the third passport. One of the islands, eventually
Third
St. Kitts,
passport. Oh,
or
right, because
yes,
you'll get the Brazil soon.
yeah,
Because you've been there a while, and so I think it's 5 years as a permanent resident.
four, only
Four.
four. I have more than four in here. Yes.
So I guess you probably have heard a lot of like on the ground information from other gringos. So I'd be curious to hear, or other people doing the
Mm-hmm.
naturalization process. So I'd be curious to hear, what have you heard in terms of how long after you submit your documents, you submit everything, the birth certificate, the whatever, and you apply for citizenship. How long do you think it'll take for them to actually process your
Well,
application, recognize you, and then
I'll
get
give
that
you all the
passport appointment?
stuff. So all the good stuff. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. So there is various path. When you have a girlfriend, for example, in my case, like I could have asked for the passport after 1 year, because when you have a Brazilian girlfriend, after 1 year you are eligible to go and ask for the naturalization. It just we have split before this, and I wasn't very interested in this. Like it wasn't the highest priority. Actually, right now I can go and ask, and I'm not asking because it's not a priority. But the other thing is, once you spend 4 years as a resident in Brazil, then again you have the right to get the naturalization. Or if you come to Brazil with your wife and your wife have a child in Brazil, and then
Hmm.
by default your child is Brazilian and transmit the nationality. So I believe there is these three ways. Then you have the investors one, so you invest in the real estate, and there is injecting money into some startups in Brazil. This is
Hmm.
also another way doing it.
Hmm.
So like these are the most common ways, but like most of the foreigners, the French living in here and everything, like they have a girlfriend, and like this is or a girl have her boyfriend in Brazil, and they do it this way, and they do the same thing back in France when the boyfriend girlfriend go there.
Yeah, I've heard about, of course, the real estate way. I've heard about the investing in startups way. I've heard about they in sort of internationalization circles. They talk a lot about the baby one, where you could just
Yeah.
go have a baby, and then after a
Yes.
year as a resident, you can become a citizen. And I
Yes.
don't know why the internationalization circles aren't talking more about the fact that you can just be like in a couple with someone and not even be
Yeah.
married for a year and do it, because that's a lot easier than having a baby.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like it actually it's exactly like being married at the end, because you go to the cartorio and you sign papers and stuff, and like splitting the like apartment and stuff
The
or not.
costs.
You
Yeah.
yeah, not the cost, like the assets that you have. If you have a car, this
Okay.
kind of stuff, and like it's serious thing still.
Right.
Uh,
It sort of gives her a right to your access
and
and stuff.
yeah, and it no, you can, for example, in my case, like I said, we don't split the assets. Like what is mine, what is yours. And it's like there is some bureaucracy. Like I had to take an attorney to take care of this and everything. But yeah, this is a way to do it. Like you find a good
Interesting.
person, and
And
you
so
like you have a
what's it called again in Portuguese and in French?
union Estável. In French, it's
Okay, stable.
union stuff. Stable union. Oh
Yeah,
shit.
stable
No,
union, stable
sorry.
union.
Yeah, 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 yeah. This is it. This is it. And like this is the common path if you check on like all the groups of gringos and stuff. Like it's the easiest way. The girl likes you, you like her. So hey, let's solve this and let's live happily together.
That's awesome. And then, so yeah, that's a huge tip for anyone listening. And then they should definitely go look in the Facebook groups, the whatever, Brazil for
Yeah, there is a
expats
group.
Facebook
Uh,
groups.
yeah, there is one. It's gringos. This is like the main group. I will send you the link if you can add it to the show note or something.
Yeah, sure,
I think
sure.
it's a very good place to gather some information. Gringos, thousands of gringos and expat living in here.
Yeah, please send me that.
Sure.
That's
One more thing. Sorry to cut you.
mhm.
Just one more thing that is important is that like once you do this, you apply for the naturalization, it takes something like up to 1 year to 1 year and a half. So this is also something that you need to keep in mind. It's not instant.
That's what I was going to ask. So
Yeah,
one to 1.5 years sounds
yeah.
that sounds
So
very optimistic to me.
no. This is exactly the time it takes. For example, if you are married, so they need to come and check if you are really married and like do their investigation and stuff. Like even for me, in my case with my ex girlfriend, like they did some check. Like, are you really like? They asked me what color she likes. What's the color of X this, and I was wrong on everything at the end. But anyway, that was a crazy situation. Like I don't know the girl. I know her very very like we know each other. Yeah, but like there is some checks like that, and when you ask for naturalization to get like the Brazilian passport. there will be way more checks, and they will ask you for like the criminal records. Even for the union stuff, they
Hmm.
ask for the criminal records for
Hmm.
everything. Like they're gonna check everything about you before moving forward with you. It's bureaucracy, but yeah. Uh, this is how it works in any country, anyway. Even in Morocco, you go there and you want to get like the residency, it's a pain in the ass.
Hmm. No, and I appreciate you sharing this because obviously, you're not an immigration lawyer. This is all just kind of what we've learned on the path, but this is stuff that's
Yeah,
extremely interesting to digital nomads. And it's like, where can I live? How do I get set up?
yeah, like this is how it started for most of my friends like that came in here. They came as a digital nomad and then they fell in love with the country, like from Australia, from the UK. They come in here and like they have normal expectation, and then they see how Brazil is, and they're like, this is the place where I want to live. And this is the kind of alpha, as we say, that is shared in our circles, the ways doing the thing.
Okay, what's the alpha?
This what I just the information alpha,
Like
like that
inside
term of
info.
crypto
Yeah,
term. Yeah, the yeah, this is like the kind of inside info.
right, right, right. The return in excess of the mean.
Yeah.
Cool, I like it. And I imagine that Balneario Camboriu, where you are now, which is, for context for people, it's a beach town in Santa Catarina State in southern
Yes.
Brazil,
Yes.
really close to Florianopolis, but actually on the mainland. So Florianopolis
Y-
is an
y-
island, and then on the
yeah.
mainland close by is Camboriú. And I first learned about Camboriú because I spent quite a bit of time in Paraguay, and a lot
Oh,
of
they come
Paraguayans,
here.
they go to Camboriú, and it's very
Yeah.
famous for them as like their
Yeah. It's
summer
their beach.
destination.
Like
It's their beach.
the beach destination is Balneario Camboriú. Like it's full of Paraguay. You go out like Argentinian way less right now because their money is going down. So we
Hmm.
see less Argentinian recently, but Paraguay a lot, a lot.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's even a song that's like it's like a Paraguayan song about
Wow.
Camboriú.
Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah,
And
but
then what's
like
also cool about
it won't shock
Camboriú
me.
is you'll have to tell us a little bit about what's going on from like a real estate perspective there. But it's got,
Yeah.
I think, the tallest towers in Brazil, or
Yes.
at least the tallest towers
Yes.
outside of Sao Paulo, and the
Yes.
skyline looks insane. Like the skyline
Yes.
looks, it's bigger than Panama, it's bigger than Cartagena.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
it's the
Crazy.
skyline of this beach is insane. Like the amount of 40, 50
Yeah.
story buildings lining this place, and it's
And
like,
it's nothing.
where does the
It's nothing.
economy come? Where does the money come from? Like it's all brand new.
Yeah, this city is really crazy. The money is coming from investors. Like people see the valuation. It's a small spot of a small city, so they can only grow vertically right now, not horizon. Yeah, not horizontally.
Because of
So
like
this is why
mountains.
yeah, because they are a little bit limited, and the
Mhm.
price of each piece of land is going to the roof. And like the city, why everyone want to come in here, it's a small town of 120,000 inhabitants. It just the last statistic, I believe right now it's way more than this. That, and in the summer it reached up to 1 million, in the new year
Mhm.
to 1 million and a half. And
Mhm.
everyone dream about coming and living. Like in all Brazil, you say Balneario Camboriú, they say, oh, I dream to live in there. And when people come in here, happen to them what happened to us when we go to a Latin American country and we fall in love and want to stay. Like somebody come from Sao Paulo and he doesn't want to go back there. So all these people coming in here, they need a place to live. And this is why like there is all the time some demand. Plus those who see the opportunity and invest. And like I believe this is how the thing is growing. Plus the city have safety. It's very safe. It got like all the leisures that you find in a big city, the biggest clubs of electronic music. In we can say in Latin America we have like Warung and Green Valley. So all these things adds up. The cleanliness of the city, and all of these things adds up in the valuation of the metro quadrado, the meter,
Square meter.
yeah, square meter. Like there is many plus people are very educated in here. You don't feel you get that feel of like south of Spain, maybe like if you are in Marbella, Puerto Banus. It's more that feeling, like a lot of sport cars, a lot of like fancy stuff,
Hmm.
and it's quite the spot of the elite of Brazil, I believe, or at least of the south of Brazil. And for the skyscraper, like we have some of the tallest, not only in Brazil but also in Latin America, among the top 10. And there would be higher. They're working on some skyscrapers higher. And we have also celebrities like the one you are talking about. Neymar got a triplex in there, and Luan Santana, a famous singer, in here. So all
Hmm.
these little details, you add one to another one, it gives the valuation of the real estate in the city. It's a whole combo of things.
Yeah, I've seen photos of them like redoing the beach in the sand, and they like made the
Yeah.
sand like way long, like way more
Yes.
extended.
This is good for real estate. Very good for real
Hmm.
estate. It means like more people coming and enjoying the beach longer, because we had an issue in here. Like once it's 3 p.m., you can't enjoy the beach because the skyscrapers are covering, like there is no sun.
Mm.
And like people were leaving the beach at 4. Right now we have like a way larger space. So yeah. And like they are working, like the prefeito, like the guy in charge here, like he's all the time doing things and making some partnerships, like recently in Dubai, because they call this Balneario Camboriu the Brazilian Dubai.
Right.
And he's trying to make partnerships with the real, like go to Dubai and bring in some investments here to do some other stuff. And like
That's funny.
that, it doesn't stop. Like I go walk on the street today, tomorrow I walk on the same street, there is something new that is popping. It's insane. It's like Sao Paulo. It got like that feel of big cities, while small cities, they are not like that. Like what you see today, you see tomorrow, after tomorrow. Here it's
And so
it's
right now
evolving.
in I guess like the high you must be kind of in the end of the high season if I'm guessing now.
There is still the carnival. I believe
Right, right.
it's by the end of this month. Then March,
Hmm.
it start to lowering, and then we get into the winter.
And so like I guess in March there's still like 600,000 people in the 100,000 person city I guess, and then
I
by
believe, yes.
and
I
then by June
believe.
July it kind of so
And you
there's
know
a,
there is something crazy in here. Another thing is that we don't know people from Balneario Camboriú. Like we go in a group of friends and we ask, "Where are you from?" "I'm from Sao Paulo." "Where are you from?" "I'm from here, from there." No one is from Balneario Camboriú, and
right.
everyone came here like 2 months ago, 6 months ago. Like it's a city of Brazilian immigrants. People
That's
coming from
good.
all
Oh my
over.
dude, you're hyping it up for me. I've been meaning to go for a walk because I like it's been one of those things that's been on my list where I was like, yo, I know if I just got a sick Airbnb in Camboriú, I'd be
Yeah.
crushing it. I'd be having so much fun. Uh,
Yes, yes. If you
it's been
like
on my
having
list.
fun, like this is paradise. I had a friend who came from Austria recently. Like he said, man, like this city, he'd been traveling all over South America and Latin America. He said Balneario is another level. He had like he came here for 1 week. He ended up staying like 2 weeks or something.
That's
It's
unreal.
a hidden gem, you know. It's the hidden gem because no one is talking about it. People, you know why? Because it's very, o- o- o-
It's very
very
Brazilian though. As much as it's international, like people know
uh,
Florianopolis and but maybe not Camboriú.
yeah, because it's a small town that is popping very fast. It's growing very fast. Like there's more and more
People will
marketing.
learn.
Yeah,
And
it's coming. Yes.
How would you actually compare Florianopolis and Camboriú? There must be a rivalry because they're kind of
Uh,
the two hot spots of the state of Santa Catarina.
you will never see somebody from Florianopolis in here. Like, it's very rare. We don't see people from there. Not because there's rivalry, but because they have everything in Floripa. Like, it's also an amazing piece of paradise. And like, it's quite rare. Like, people in here, you find people from all the other states, but Florianopolis, no, because they already have everything in there. Personally, I find Florianopolis a bit boring as a city, and I like to go to any beach. It takes you like 30 minutes, and there is a lot of traffic, a lot of. While here, you want to meet with some friends, 5 minutes. Hey, I'm coming. I'm taking my skate. You do everything by skate.
Skateboard?
Yeah, I have an electric skate in here. Like,
Cool.
you do the whole city in 10 minutes.
So it attracts a different crowd, Florianopolis versus Camboriú.
No, it's quite the same. It just here it's more the fancy place. Like, but also in Florianopolis they have the spot that is called Jurere Internacional, and it's like
Hmm.
Lamborghinis, Ferraris, and this kind of stuff. Just in here, it's the whole city that is like that.
And if you had to sort of guess at sort of like the makeup of people in Camboriú, I imagine there's probably a lot of people from Curitiba, and then
It's
maybe
not
a bunch of people from the north, or like what's sort of like what's sort of like
well.
the percentage
You
breakdown?
you feel that in like if you were in Germany or something, like a lot of German names, a lot of because people, when they imagine Brazil, they think Rio de Janeiro, and Brazil is not just Rio de Janeiro is just a place. Like, you go to the Manaus, it's a different culture, different like way of speaking, different uh, many things. Like, everything changed from a state to another, and like here, the majority, the biggest part, they are gauchos. I think you might be familiar with the term, like
Yep, yeah, like
because there's a lot of
cowboys from
yeah,
southern.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
the kind of the cowboys, and like they are mostly coming from the south, from Porto Alegre and that part. Then we have some people coming from Curitiba, and Curitiba is, for example, Curitiba and Paraná is what we call in Brazil like Russia, because there is a lot of Russian descent and a lot of Polish. So when you come in here in Balneario, like, you feel like not the Brazil that you see. Like, everyone is blonde, blue eyes, and this kind of things. And something that like boggled the mind of people that come from abroad and imagine the Brazil is
Hmm.
Rio de Janeiro. Uh, here there is a very different composition. It's like Sao Paulo. You find a lot of Japanese, Brazilian,
Hmm.
and this is also like like shocked a lot of people that came in here. Even Japanese, they came and they were, wow. There's a lot of Japanese, but they speak Portuguese.
It sounds awesome, man. It sounds awesome. I guess for context for people, I've spent time in Rio, Sao Paulo, Foz do Iguazu, Ilhabela, but I haven't made it down to the south. And you know what? I'm very torn if I did go to Brazil, what my next adventure would be. I've always wanted to do the whole north and do like Lençóis Maranhenses and
Oh,
Jericoacoara and
I've been to
Pipa and stuff
Jericoacoara.
like that. So that's like that stuff's really cool too. But Camboriú is cool too. So
Yeah.
it's good to hear a little
Mm,
bit of both.
my recommendation, if you come like in June, just go to the north, because
Right, the
unless
temperature.
if you like winter,
Right.
I'm not a very winter guy. Like, personally, I'm planning to escape. I might go to Colombia or something. Uh, because yeah, winter in here is not that interesting. So July, August, September, just don't come to Balneario.
And a little bit of a segue here, but I
Uh-huh.
remember when I was in Iguazu and Ciudad del Este, Paraguay. There's an enormous Arab population
Oh
in
yeah, they
that
have
area.
Lebanese. Yeah,
Yeah, a
yeah, a
lot of
lot of
Lebanese people,
Lebanese.
like
Yes,
100,000 plus.
yes,
Um,
yes.
I
Crazy,
I
crazy.
I was meeting people that they were. Brazilian, but their dad was Lebanese, and so they would like
Yeah,
speak Arabic with their dad, speak English with me, speak Spanish with
yeah,
with the Paraguayans, and it was extremely
insane.
multicultural. And you know, I'd go get shawarma or like a lomito,
Shawarma.
and like the guys are like speaking Arabic to each other, you know, like two brothers like yelling at each other, and I'm just like, wow, this reminds me of Montreal.
Insane. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Even in Sao Paulo, like there is some places where you have a lot of Arabs. Even here, like here, we have a little street in Balneario Camboriu. We have two actually. We have a place where you go to repair your phone and buy phones and buy tech
Hmm.
stuff. It's like normally these places are taken by the Chinese, but here it's taken by the Arabs. Like a lot of Iraqi, a lot of Syrian, Lebanese, Egyptian. And we have also
Hmm.
a street in here where there is a place like Habibi, and like it's full of hookah and like it's
Yeah,
a little Arab district.
Brazilians
Yeah,
like hookah.
they like it a lot. They use it a lot. Like you go on the beach, they are using it everywhere, everywhere. They smoke a
And so
lot these things.
the segue was kind of going to be about language learning because you're an international guy. I know you speak a lot of
Hmm.
languages. I guess first I was
Hmm.
just curious if you know, you probably do get to use your Arabic in Brazil a little bit and probably more than most people would expect because I think most people don't
Ah,
expect Brazil to be so Arabic, especially how we were talking about how some of the backgrounds
well,
and but so yeah yeah, so we'll start there.
not that much the Arabic. I don't use it because like there is not a lot of connection with the Arab world in here. Like unless if I go to buy something or because culturally I believe Moroccan we are very different from the Arab. We are North African. It's a different thing.
Hmm.
Even our language we speak a different. It's a dialect mixed with our native language. We are not.
Hmm.
We are fake Arabs, kind of.
No, and I know this because I actually watched some of your YouTube channel, Adil
Uh-huh.
Maf North Africa. So I was
Yeah.
listening. I was literally listening to you talk about payment processing in Moroccan Arabic, and I couldn't
Yeah.
believe how much Spanish you, or sorry, how much French you
French,
were like
French.
mixing in. So
Yes,
it's like when you're
exactly.
speaking Moroccan Arabic, you're speaking probably like almost 20% French.
Exactly. It is due to the colonization. We've been colonized by the French, and you go to Morocco, we speak a lot of French. So this is the thing. Like it's very different from the Arab world. Like culturally and the language, the food. We eat couscous, and well, there is another thing. So I didn't use that much the Arabic, unless if I go to buy some phone and I see the guy trying to scam me or something. I say, "Hey, Habibi, don't do this." Other than this, like not much. Most of the time English because I have a lot of friend like expats living in here, and Portuguese,
Hmm.
a lot of Portuguese and Moroccan with my friends.
Hmm. And like you know you're juggling a lot of languages, and I guess
Yeah.
you know maybe some of our listeners out there, they might only speak English or they might speak English and then kind of, you know, broken conversational Spanish or Portuguese. That's kind of where I am, if I
Uh,
humbly say so. And then so like what would your advice be to someone who's aspiring to be a polyglot and speak, you know, five languages like yourself?
yeah. Six. I speak six.
Berber.
I will. No, because there is the dialect Moroccan Darija, and then there is the Arabic,
Right.
the one that I use from time to time. Then Spanish and Portuguese and French, English. And my advice is like when you, for example, when I came to Brazil, I was saying just some like everything was wrong from what I was saying, but I was trying at least and communication with people from the place native in their language because I see a lot of gringos coming in here and like trying to find people speaking English to communicate only in English, and it's not
Hmm.
the way that you got to like communicate with people and like practice. It's all about practicing, and I believe that all the language that they have some words that we use all the time. Like you need to crack this. Some words we use all the time, like the basics. I think everyone should learn this. There's some apps for this. For example,
Hmm.
Go Speaky. I think there is Ghost. You know it?
No, just a funny name.
Yeah. So yeah, you need to practice. It's it's that simple. Eventually, watching some movies with the subtitle in English. I was doing this before coming to Brazil. Like I was watching some Brazilian movies and with subtitle in English, and that helped me like get some more vocabulary, add in some more vocabulary. But like the easiest way is like getting in the battlefield and speaking. Like survive.
Hmm. So I was thinking we could switch gears a bit and talk a little bit more about payment processing. Talk
Sure.
about what it's like to. I believe you have a lot of clients from emerging markets and people that you
Yes.
work with from emerging markets, and I think it's kind of a different dynamic than other people that are doing online business, but primarily just transacting within the United States, for example.
Yeah.
And then so we could kind of yeah, and then after that maybe just talk a little bit about crypto. So
Yeah. Sure.
what's like
Okay.
the payment process? Yeah, so where do you seem like you
No,
have
go
an
ahead.
idea of where you want to start?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed I think Stripe is available in Brazil.
Yes.
I was looking at payment solutions a bit because I was looking I've toyed with the idea of starting a business in Paraguay. Maybe we could talk about
Hmm.
Paraguay too. I think you should look into it if
Sure.
you want to build your international residency portfolio. Um, I think it's
Yeah.
something you
It's
might want to look at. But and in Paraguay, there's no Stripe. But I learned about Payoneer in Paraguay, and I know that you've actually been working with Payoneer
I
extensively as well.
yeah. Exactly. I've been the ambassador of Pioneer until like last year because like I'm switching focus a bit to crypto. But yeah, Pioneer. But Pioneer is just like to sending money from somebody to. It's like a bank. It's a virtual bank account. It's similar to Wise actually. It's quite the same thing as Wise.
Hmm.
Um, but like actually, when I started my channel, it was like mainly I wanted to focus on dropshipping and e-commerce. It's just that I had a lot of demand for payment processing after my video on payment processing, and I've seen
Hmm.
that like there was a huge need for that. Like people were depending on the thing, so I switched it and I started making content for payment processing. And Brazil, actually, we don't consider Brazil because Brazil there is all the high tech things they are in here. Like we have Stripe, we have anything. New Bank is
Hmm.
Brazilian.
Hmm.
So Brazil, it's another league. It's like the first world countries in the payment processing. Like my customers and my viewers, they're not Brazilian. They are mostly Paraguay, for example. Yeah, a lot of Eastern Europe, Ukraine, a lot of Serbia, a lot of Serbian parceros, Albania, and these countries. And the problem is that, like, when you want to sell on an e-commerce store and sell internationally, you don't have with Shopify. The majority use Shopify or WooCommerce, and they are very limited. They don't have a solution to process payments, and Stripe is by far the best uh, and like the smoothest one. So I cracked the code of this, and I've been sharing like the strategies on how to get a Stripe account. And I've built some partnerships. Like I'm partner with the First Formations. It's like the first company incorporating and opening LTDs and companies for people in from abroad in the UK. Like they are very
Hmm.
big in the UK, and I'm kind of ambassador for them also as of today. And like I show people how to open like a company with for example first formation, and how to get the whole strategy for getting a fully working Stripe account and verified and all this kind of stuff. Because when you are born the wrong side of the map, like myself, and you need to leverage this company that is in the UK, for example, it's like a proxy to get access to these things that you don't have access
Hmm.
to. So you do it through the company. At first, it was a US company. Then I found the solution for the UK company, and I start sharing because it's more like it's cheaper and takes less time. And knowing that the majority were from emerging markets and not everyone have the money to afford like the cost of a company in the US that is like 3 to 4 times more expensive than the UK one. So I've been sharing this kind of stuff, and people opening the business and like doing their stuff. So overall, that was it for the payment processing. I also have a program that is very advanced where I share like more advanced strategies and stuff, payment processing secrets. But like the major, like my content on YouTube is more than useful for anyone stuck. If somebody is coming, and actually, but there is even like in people watching my content, even some digital nomads that are in some countries and like they spend a
Hmm.
lot of time in there and they want to open a business. Sometimes they need strategies like that for their business,
Hmm.
like even from Europe or
And I think what's
yeah.
cool about what you're doing is you're not really emphasizing like go offshore, low tax, blah blah blah. It's not about that at all. It's like
Mm,
YouTube, it's like literally just how can I accept payments in my own country, in my own bank account? And like, I'm happy to pay the tax, but I just need a way to like get
uh,
paid.
yeah, this kind of stuff are more advanced. I, I share this kind of stuff, but like more in like in my mentorship and stuff. But like on
Hmm.
YouTube, I keep it basic. Just go and start making some money. Like don't worry about this kind of stuff. Make some money. Make your business moving. Have some cash flow, and then you're gonna solve it on the go. Like I try to not complicate the process. Go offshore and do this and this is offshore actually because opening a company in the UK, this is offshore.
Yeah, in that example, it would be. So tell us a bit about your mentorship and what you actually do for the advanced clients.
Well, like this year I stopped. I have just one inner circle with some very successful entrepreneurs and investors. Like they are more playing in the seven figures, more or less. And this is like a small circle where we share all the alpha. And like to get in this circle, it's more like customers who've been already in all my programs because we need to be like familiar a bit, and have some trust and stuff. So like this is my most advanced mentorship. I have also payment processing secret. Like this is where I share everything about incorporating in the UK, the taxes, having Stripe and all this kind of stuff. I have another program that is Crypto Wealth Accelerator that that covers everything about crypto, how to invest in crypto, how to invest in the gamify, the DeFi, play to earn. It's a heavy program. Very very good stuff. And then yeah, so I have these programs and I have the inner circle mentorship, and this one is very close. Like right now I'm not, for example, not taking new mentees.
Interesting. Yeah, I've been getting more familiar with the high end mentorship model and some of the businesses that I've been working on and looking to potentially implement something like that for my Latin life in the future.
Yeah, you
So I do find
should.
it interesting.
Yeah, and there is a lot of something like Nomad Capitalist,
Hmm.
maybe
Yeah,
Latino version.
the way that's literally it. That's literally what I say is that we're trying to be like nomad capitalists for Latin America, and this year there's going to be a big focus on talking about second residencies, passports,
Anything
internationalizing your
Brazil, let
life,
me know. I
investing
mean,
in Latin America, and yeah, I mean Brazil's a big part of that.
because in the big picture, my plan is like in the vision that I'm working on, like one of the steps is bringing investors here to Brazil and to Balneario Camboriu and to grow the community in here. This is something also like I already have, like, for example, one guy, an Algerian guy in my mentorship, this inner circle. He's coming here in 2 or 3 months to establish in Balneario Camboriu. So this is also something I'm working on. So like we can connect for this and do stuff together if you want.
I'm into it. I'm into it.
Good.
So let me ask you sort of an advanced question, and you only have to answer as much as you want. But my
Okay.
big concern about becoming a Brazilian permanent resident is the tax implications, because I think the way I've looked at how they define you as a tax resident, the Brazilian government, and it's either
Hmm.
spending more than 6 months of the year in Brazil, or I think even if you spend less than 6 months, but you're a permanent resident, you are still considered a tax resident. And I don't really want to like get into the Brazil tax web. I think it would just, it's not worth it just for me to live there or whatever. So yeah, but my experience has also been that on the ground things are often like quite different than what it says like on
Exactly.
paper.
Yeah, things are very different on the ground than on paper, and yeah, you just need to have some good accountant. Like this is like the best way to do it. Like the majority of my gringo friends living in here, they have like accountant who takes care of this because the accountant is local and he knows how works everything. While you are a foreigner and you don't know much about taxes and stuff, you know.
hmm Do you think at a high level, if you're a digital nomad, you make all your money in the US or UK or whatever, and you just want to buy an apartment and chill on the beach in Brazil and not get hassled, is that possible?
Yes, it is. Oh, sorry. Oh, so yeah, it is. It's possible. It's possible doing it. Like to buy real estate as an investor, I believe that like they don't tax a lot for this. I believe. I'm not very sure about this. Like
Yeah, and it's
bringing
not
all
about
the
the
capital
investment
in.
itself. Like I think everyone's happy to pay like a little property tax on the property or whatever. It's more
Uh
just
huh.
about it would be cool like at a high level, I think investment residency programs are really cool. Whether it be Turkey or Colombia or Brazil or whatever, buy a property and you get a free permanent residency with it. Sounds great, right? But the only
It
thing is
depends.
like I just don't want to get, and I'm happy to pay like property tax on that property or whatever, keep it up to date. Um, but I just don't want to like be thrown into. I want to kind of get the rights to like be able to live there a bit if I want to, but I don't want to get thrown into that tax net if it's not a
I
good one
never
at least.
I've never heard any story of somebody suffering from the taxes in here from the gringos living in here. Like I know a lot that have their properties in here and everything, and it's fine as long as you pay your annual tax, the ITPU that you need to
hmm
pay, and then the tax of the the cleaning and this kind of stuff. I don't know how to
yeah,
call it. Yeah, they have
yeah,
another tax and. Yeah, ambiental like anyway, there's another tax, and then you have the ITPU. It's something like it's not some big amount, and that's it. Like nothing crazy, nothing to worry about. Uh, you
yeah.
don't
I just
pay
wouldn't want
some.
them to like be. I just wouldn't want it to be like a worldwide income thing.
I don't believe that like there's a lot of people investing in Brazil, and like I've never heard anyone who got some issues or something about
Yeah, it's
taxes
fair.
for having a property in Brazil. I never heard such a story because it won't make sense. You know, you have your property, you're paying the ITPU that you have. If you rent it, you're gonna pay the tax for renting it. I believe there is
Mhm.
another tax, but like that's it.
No,
Nothing
it's
crazy.
good, and sorry, I'm giving you a bit of a hard time about it, but I do think it's extremely important. Um, but yeah, man,
No
dude,
worries.
we should definitely like one of the yeah, I do want to use my Latin life as a way for um people, probably primarily from North America, to diversify into Latin America, to invest in Latin America, buy property and stuff like that. And one of the big things I am thinking of figuring out a way to do is allowing people to buy like turnkey real estate, where it's there's a property manager. Hopefully, there's some income coming in to at least cover the costs, rent it out or something, or at least just like just sort of simplifying the buying process. Because
Hmm.
um, I think a lot of people would be down to buy 100K house here, 100K house there, blah blah blah. And even if it doesn't make money, just as a sort of like inflation hedge and
Yeah,
store of value, as long as
it
it's easy.
really it really depends calling it an inflation hedge. Like for example, for me, if it was like sending my money like to buy the real estate with my own money and not just like you pay just the down payment, I wouldn't do it in Brazil. Definitely not, because I'm not very confident in the currency, and if it goes like 20% down over the 5 years, I won't be hedging anything at the end of the story. So this is also something to consider, unless you are if you are very confident in the Brazilian economy. So just check, open an app to check like how it's evolving, the reais versus the US dollar. So this is one thing. The other thing is that, like, in case you have somebody who want to invest in here, it's good to have an attorney. Like, I have a good team of attorneys who took
Hmm.
care of this. Like, I
Hmm.
don't sign anything because here it's a lot of bureaucracy, and normal
Yeah,
people
you give
don't go this way.
power of
Yeah,
attorney.
uh, I didn't give them the power of attorney. I just like they were along all the process. Normal people don't go this route. I just wanted to go this route because I didn't have time to go check all the documents and everything. I had a team and they were working, and I just sign whenever there's something to sign. And like they do the, and if it is someone in this situation, in my opinion, it's good having some attorneys or one attorney to take care of this, because otherwise it's a headache. It's a lot of lot of things to check, a lot of verification. And
Hmm. I remember seeing this one American guy. His name was like Entrepreneur Life. He was like this bald black guy, and he was looking at, and he's done some YouTube videos about buying real estate
I know
in
him. And I know the
Buzios
video.
and
Hmm.
in Rio. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're no, I'm talking about another one, passport heavy. No.
Oh, Passport Heavy. Yeah, yeah, Jabril.
Yeah.
That's a good one too.
Buzios,
Yeah,
I don't
I
know. Buzios, it's Rio de Janeiro. For me, I see here Rio de Janeiro like a war zone. Personally, I don't like it much there because it's a bit, I don't know. Uh,
I
like,
know what you mean.
yeah, yeah. I prefer way more investing in Sao Paulo or here in Balneario Camboriu, eventually Itajaí, a city that is close and that have a huge potential. Rio de Janeiro, it's a dirty city. They don't take care of it. There's a lot of crime, you know. But again, each one is
Well, I
different.
mean, Buzios and do Cabo is like 2 hours from Rio, but yeah, I get what you're
It's
saying.
the same.
Still,
It's the same
same
state.
thing.
It's
Yeah,
the
same
same
state.
state and same laws, same, because each state is different. So the same bureaucracy, the same. Yeah, but
That's
maybe
a
it's
good
a
point.
good.
That's a very
Yeah,
good point, actually.
yeah.
Okay, cool, man. So maybe now we could talk a little bit about how you sort of moved from payment processing into crypto. Actually, I do still have one or two more questions about payment processing and stuff. So I think you in your videos you recommend people from emerging markets set up either a U.S. company or a U.K. company. When is one the better situation for someone? When? How do you know what's the right fit for you?
Well, if you just want to have a payment processing and process payments and stuff, like the UK company is, and it really depends. For somebody from Europe, I believe it might be different. But like the UK company is very fast to set up and very cheap to set up also. And even tax wise, I believe that the UK company gets more advantages than the US, and it's smoother than the US. So
Hmm.
this is why like I orient right now. But even like even a US company is a good thing, for like some businesses. For example, like there is some platforms, for example, that only accept a US company and not a UK company. So in this case, it's better going with a US company. Actually, these companies are mainly used to unlock stuff from that country and that are unlocked for that country. So let's say that there is a business and they don't do business with UK companies. So in this situation, you're gonna create a US company so you can do business with this one, or use their service, or
Hmm.
so. But like most of the
Definitely makes
cases, the
sense.
80% of the cases, a UK company will do most of the things.
Okay, that's good. That's interesting. I never really considered that. Um, and I kind of wanted to touch on this before, but like, how do you treat an emerging market client differently than like a first world client? I hate to put it that way because I used to work for part time. I used to help out this influencer, and he literally removed Brazilian subtitles from his videos so that he wouldn't get Brazilian clients because he just kind of thought it was a waste of time. They didn't have any purchasing power. If you're trying to sell like high ticket products, in the multi
Hmm,
$1,000 or five figures, and so
wrong.
just one example.
No,
And
this
yeah,
is
maybe that is wrong, but like, how do you
this
like
is
do you consider that maybe emerging market clients have less
they
purchasing
have.
power, but it's less competition, or
Well, let me explain just one point. Like right now, with this company that they leverage and open worldwide and this kind of stuff, they make money. They make the same money that would make somebody in the US. Like I have people in my mentorship, they are making $50,000 per month, and they reach two hundred
Mhm.
thousand dollars per month, and they have the money. They have the dry powder for anything. Like this is a very wrong perception. And in here in Brazil, I went to some event like Grant Cardone and Gary V, and like a lot of people were enrolling in his most advanced programs that cost in the high five figures or five figures. Like it's Brazilian, they spend a lot on education, especially for Brazil. You speak about the guy that removed Brazil. So Brazil, there is a lot of rich people in here. Like there is some people with some ridiculous amount of money on yachts and helicopters and stuff. Uh, so I don't believe that like the purchasing power is like that. There is some difference. Maybe 5 years ago or something, 6 years ago. But like right now, for example, in my home countries, there is a lot of drop shippers and they are making a lot of money. They are making a lot of money, like really,
Mhm.
and they are investing this money in like joining masterminds, education, some programs, advanced coaching, and stuff. Like there is this culture that is starting, and they, for example, like somebody in Morocco is making more money eventually than like a big chunk of people in the US just online from his computer and stuff. And he's making beyond the 90% of the US or some European country. Because right now with internet, and this is why these companies, the LLC in the US and the LTD in the UK, are good. Because we leverage this and then we break the barrier of being born the wrong side of the map, and we get equal rights, and we play the business game, and like a lot of guys are crushing it. So I believe this is a misconception in my opinion. And even the guy from Nomad Capitalist recently, he's been talking, and he said like he starts seeing a lot of Moroccan, Egyptian making seven figures, eight figures, reaching out to him for his service. Like I remember seeing this.
I believe it.
So so I believe it's even in my programs. Like I have some programs that are $3,000, and like people are enrolling. I have program at $10,000 and people are enrolling. And like my most basic program is like $300, and like it's almost a no brainer. People come and join. So maybe if it is like few years backward, I would say yes. But like right now, not much. Like it's equal. Because I remember like when I was just starting, most of my coaching clients they were from the U.S., Canada, Russia, eventually a lot of French, a lot of Spanish, and then it started to mix over time. And right now it's almost equal. It's
That's
just like
amazing.
yeah, yeah. It's the globalization. right now. This is what is
Hmm.
happening, and internet is breaking the barriers, and like anyone got equal opportunity. It's just that you don't have the expensive cost of living of the US, for example, or of, for France or the UK. You can choose another spot, or and even like for us, like as a digital nomads, like we can go to a place where we have a very high quality of life for way cheaper and make a good amount of money. That if in I don't know if you get my points in here.
I do, and I think I hope that the entire digital nomad community reflects the increasing globalization, and that you're actually you're actually like the canary in the coal mine. You're one of the first people to see this because you're so on the ground, and you're actually facilitating um, evening the playing field, right? Like you're doing God's work, man. You're helping evening the playing field, so that everyone has equal access to opportunity.
Trying, trying. But yeah,
And
this
and
is
I,
this is
I
the
and I want to
mission
see
of
that.
it.
I want us to get to the point where let you just pull up to a random hostel in Costa Rica, and it's not just German guys and Canadian guys. It's women, it's people from Egypt and
Yeah,
Indonesia, like I said, and Moroccans, and it's just going to be a much more international community of people that have location independence and work online. And I think there will be sort of like a regression to the mean, where the
it's
gap
starting.
between the gap between like purchasing power per capita,
Hmm.
or whatever GDP per capita is gonna the gap's gonna close, and everyone's gonna live happily
Equal
together.
chances. That
Yeah.
that would be amazing. That would be, and we are heading toward that. We're heading, just that people didn't wake up to this. A lot of people think that they need to go in the traditional thing and have a job and work 8 hours a day and then come back home. We start breaking this right now with the COVID thing, because like people start doing the home office thing. What It's our life, digital nomad lives. Like they are discovering this new way of living, and this is a start of this like mass globalization, and location doesn't matter that much.
For
This is a
sure.
very
I
good
think what
start.
we're going to see is that the entire human population is going to just move to somewhere with good climate,
Let's
and
go to Mars.
every
Let's colonize Mars.
that too. But I think, I think Russia and Canada and Northern Europe, where it's so cold, all of these people are gonna like build sort of second homes or move to somewhere in the
Yeah.
Mediterranean or in Latin America, somewhere that's just warm,
Yes.
and they get to see the sun.
It's
You're
starting.
from a warm place, but I'm
Yeah.
from like where I'm from right now is negative 15 degrees at this
Whoa.
point, at this moment in time. Um,
That's a
and
lot.
so people are going where they're treated best, to quote Nomad Capitalist.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, but no, but it's completely true. You go where you are treated best, and where your money goes the furthest. And like
Hmm.
it's a very very good point, I believe, because we have this option, so why not? We should leverage it, and I believe like this is where we are heading. Like the world is changing very fast. Like mm, for example, like crypto right now, to talk about crypto and play to earn and stuff. Like right now there is in crypto some way that you buy some digital assets that are NFTs, and you give these
Hmm.
NFTs to some people in the other part of the planet, and they use these NFTs, and you do some revenue share, and they are making money and you are making money. And this is something that boggles the mind. It's like Ready Player One. So everything is getting so virtual, and even making money is getting gamification. I don't
Hmm.
know if you get the point of the, like things are
Hmm.
changing very fast. We are getting to a new era, and you will find a young Filipino playing like against a young German, and like making the same amount of money. And this is happening right now, and this is just going to grow over time. It's just going to expand. So one day we will be all, you know, the globalization will be reaching the 100%.
I agree, man. So, what is your level of involvement in crypto now?
Oh, we can say 90%. Yeah, I'm like very very involved in crypto. It's right now I'm very involved in play to earn, like this what I said, like playing games and earning money and growing, like and having some NFTs that grow in value and this kind of stuff. And I'm involved in anything crypto and DeFi. Uh, and this is things that I cover inside my program, Crypto Wealth Accelerator. Like, I go very in depth in this kind of stuff, and how to make money out of this, how to lower the
Hmm.
risks and maximize the profit and this kind of stuff. And I believe like this is the future. This is where, one thing is like, I've always tried to catch a trend early, because this is
Hmm.
how it worked. Like in the early stages it was like email marketing, then it was drop shipping, and then you need to jump from that boat and then move to the next thing before. And the thing that I see that is going to skyrocket this year is the play to earn metaverse things. So NFTs, crypto. So this is my main focus.
That's awesome. And I actually had a guy on the podcast. You listened to it about Mark Falzone and him documenting crypto adoption in Latin America. I imagine that most of what you're doing is sort of international and online, but this being the My Latin Life podcast, I was just curious: are you collaborating with any other like crypto investors and developers locally in Brazil or across Latin America?
Well, not much, but like I have a mini team of players, and I have some Brazilian players, because Brazilian, they are very, very, very advanced in the play to earn and in
Hmm.
crypto in general. Like, there is a lot of people living out of just play to earn, playing video games and making money at the same time. So there is this, and there is that. Like, anyone that I know on some crypto, like anyone you ask, do you have some crypto? Yeah, I have some Bitcoin, some Ethereum, some Solana.
Hmm.
Like, it's something very common. And in Balneario Camboriu you can buy real estate in Bitcoin. There is a real estate agency, and you go with Bitcoin and you buy the property. So that's how it is, the crypto market in here.
And we'll start wrapping up because I want to be respectful of your time. But I actually don't know anything about what play to earn really is. I understand the idea that some people can make money playing video games because they earn gems or whatever, and the gems are worth money. Or but
Uh,
like I imagine you're not playing games, but you're like managing teams of people playing games, or you're
I'm
creating communities,
investing.
or what? How does it
Yeah.
work?
So I'm finding the right games, and I'm investing in digital assets and buying these assets, and then distributing these assets to my team so they can play. And I have two teams. I have split, one in Brazil and one in Philippines, in both time zones. And like, they play and they have some rev share, and they're having fun, and they are making money, and I am making money. So
And
this is how it works.
they need your capital in order
Yes,
to
yeah, yes,
provide
because
them with the stuff.
otherwise they can't get the stuff. So let's say that you need to buy a skin of an a skin of a guy that like win 3 times more. So I go and buy the skin and give it to the guy, and he play with the skin that I borrow him. Everything on the blockchain, and you can get it back anytime. Like, everything is safe and secure. So he go and
Hmm.
play and crash the game and make a lot of money in the games, and we share it, say 50-50%, or depending on the game. Some games you get the biggest part, like, because there is
Uh-huh.
not a lot of work to do. So depending of the game, you do the thing. So they are making money, they're professional player at the end, like, they're playing the game, making the money, and you are on the
Uh-huh.
other side, getting back your investment and then getting into the profit over time.
Makes sense. I mean, I thought you were gonna say you just buy the gems or tokens or whatever, and then they go up in value as the game gets more popular, for example. But what you're talking
That's
about actually sounds to me more like when you stake a poker player, and then you give him 25 grand to play the World Series of Poker, and then if he wins the jackpot, you share in the earnings from winning.
kind of this. Yeah, yeah, kind of. It's quite similar, like quite similar. It's kind of, this is another way to see it. So basically, you invest and you put the money, and there is some play to earn where even the investor is playing because it's fun and there is competition and stuff. And like you want to show your NFT that is a very badass NFT, your skin. So it's a whole, the world is changing so fast with this play to earn thing. Uh, and uh, and and yeah, overall, like this is it. You buy the digital assets, you lend to people, and they work with the digital asset that you have, and you share the money. This is one way doing it.
It's fascinating. It's fascinating. I'm sure you're a wealth of knowledge on crypto, but I want to be respectful of your time, and then people can go look into your program. So yeah, I think this would be the best point in time for you to again just kind of shout out and promote your programs and the cool stuff that you're working on.
Oh yeah, so I have a program, Crypto Wealth Accelerator, where I share this kind of stuff, like how to invest in crypto and in this kind of digital assets and play to earn industry that is popping right now. And like you can just follow me on Instagram, Adil Maf, and there is all the links for my stuff, like my YouTube
Hmm.
channel. My most of my content is in English. Actually, I have only one channel that is in Moroccan. There is a language of there. So yeah, Instagram is like the place to go. I have also Twitter, Adil Maf. I can send you like the link if you want to add it to show notes.
Yeah, yeah, we'll connect everything.
And awesome, awesome. Yeah, and thanks a lot for having me. And like, yeah, wish you success in your podcast. Really great stuff. We need something like that. Like I remember before coming on to Brazil, I would love to have something like that to get this kind of insights before coming. And back then, like there is nothing, just some forums and stuff. And there is a gap that you are feeling with this program, with the podcast about like Latin America. So yeah,
Yeah, definitely, man. I appreciate the kind words, and hopefully we can collaborate in the future. And always you
sure,
can give me feedback about stuff. Yeah, I just wanted to
definitely.
say merci,
Merci
obrigado,
beaucoup.
valeu.
Valeu, meu irmão. Valeu. Tamo junto.
And I knew, man, I knew when I kind of came across your stuff, I was like, yeah, this guy's gonna be a sick podcast guest. Like this will be a good one. And you did
Thanks,
not
buddy.
disappoint. This was an awesome conversation.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, ciao for now.
All right. Cheers.